All right, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. I'm excited to have you again on this conversation. It's always wonderful to be with you. So, wherever you are joining from, you are super, super welcome. So, just like we always do, I'm going to give a minute or a few seconds for people to get online. For those who are joining us on Facebook, thank you for joining. You can join on YouTube. But unfortunately, today you cannot watch us on Instagram. We having a lot of problem on with Instagram today in Turkey. So you might not be able to catch us on Instagram today, but obviously we're there on Facebook and YouTube. So feel free to share and invite someone to come join in your favorite Saturday conversation. And like I always say, get a cup of juice, a cup of water, a cup of coffee. I have my cup of water here because I like to tell myself that I'm trying to live healthy. At least that's what I tell myself. I don't know, doing my best. And in a few seconds, I'm going to be introducing our guests, and then allow her to also talk about herself. So it's going to be an amazing, amazing, super conversation today. So one more time, you are welcome. And as I always say, take time to invite someone to be part of the conversation today. You're not going to. It, how do I put it? You're not going to have a dull moment with this conversation today. So get ready and get someone to join us. You can invite someone, you can share it on your status and get someone to participate as we explore so much there about career, about vision. We explore about how to relate with your manager. We talk about things happening with Nigeria and the world around. So thank you so much for being part of it today. And quickly, let me introduce my guest for today. That is Yewande Jinadu. And I'm sure most of you would know the second part of that name. And some of you who've been around me for a long time would know that I talk about that name a lot. And I always talk about his wife. But time today for you to get to meet Mrs. Mrs. Yewande Jinadu. I'm going to give her a moment to talk about herself, what she does, and then we'll get into the conversation. Yes, Yewande Jinadu, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me as well.
Okay, you might want to talk about yourself, what you do, and your career. Let the people get to know you by from your own words.
Okay. Firstly, an HR professional. I've been in the HR space for about 8 years. I work in tech, so I'm an advocate of HR in tech.
Okay.
Right. Apart from me being an HR person, I'm also the founder of Career Life. Career Life is a non-profit organization that helps young graduates in Nigeria achieve measurable success in their career. We're focused on solving employability issue in Nigeria. So we have a community of over like 40,000 people in Nigeria via digital channels and basically just helping them with employability issues. Apart from that, I'm also an ICF credentialed coach, but I specialize in career and leadership coaching. Um, if I'm not working, writing, making videos, I'm probably being a wife and a mom. I think that's the major aspect of myself. Yeah.
Okay, so you are a career coach, meaning you help people in the path of their career, right? Trying to make better
Yes, I
career
do.
for themselves. Okay, I want to quickly say that. Meanwhile, if you want to invite your friends, you can see I sent you the link if you want to invite your friends to join. So, but I want to start with asking a question. Career coaching, was that I know I was that what you planned to do with your life? Was that what you set out to be? Did you set out to say, okay, I want to be a career coach? Or was that a pivot for you? Is that at some point you say, okay, I want to go into this?
No, it wasn't. It was not part of the initial plan. I mean, when I finished school, HR was
Okay.
not even part of my plan. By the way, I studied chemical and polymer engineering. My plan was to, come out from school, go and work in Chevron, Shell as a design engineer. But Nigeria happened and life happened, so I transitioned to HR. And even while I was growing my career in HR, being a career coach was not initially part of my plan. But because I was exposed a lot to recruitment and I was exposed to the issues that people face in their career, I think the biggest part for me was when I was a consultant, we conducted a staff audit for a popular insurance firm. And I
Okay.
could see people who have worked in that company for about 10, 15 years still in the same path, earning probably just twice my salary, that I was just an intern. And I didn't see growth, I didn't see fulfillment. I just saw that they were just living. I was like, this is not the kind of life I want or the kind of life I think people should live. And so I think for me, I just became interested in career and employability, seeing the recruitment problems we have in Nigeria. And after starting Career Life Nigeria, I began to do more work, and then I learned about professional coaching. I think when
Mm.
I inquired about it was like in 2019, 2018. When I heard the course, I was like, calm down. But I knew when I had the opportunity to go for the real training,
Mm-hmm.
I started towing that line of coaching. But informally, I've been coaching. But just to answer your question, I would say that's what I started out to do in the beginning. It's just something that I found or found me along the way.
Okay. But you seem to be enjoying it now more than what you originally set out to do with your life. Okay, I think I lost Yewande there. So I'm sure she's gonna be back. She was simply trying to say that she didn't set out to be a career coach, which is something that any of us can also happen to any of us. That you know, which is something that can also happen to any of us. So for me and for you, you can always, as much as you can, try to move from something that, okay, this is what I plan to do, but I stumbled on something that I'm doing now and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna get back to Yewande quickly. So one more time, I want to say thank you for joining us again in the conversation. Um, as a matter of fact, okay, yes, we have her back. Thank you so much. Yes, can you hear me now? Yeah, but I can hear you. So if you can check on the sound, but I can hear you. I can hear. I can see you, but I cannot hear you. Hello. Okay. I'm having difficulty hearing Yewande from her angle, but I think she can hear me. So um, I'm just gonna try to take a moment to reconnect with her. I'm sure she will reconnect with us very soon. So in a short while, she will reconnect with us. So, but I've been trying to say the same thing that she said before. Most times, people get stuck in one career and say to themselves, "This is what I just want to do." Hi, can you hear us now? Okay, I think she's trying to, but she just said something that this is not something that she set out to do, but she found that there was a need for someone to guide people in this direction. And oftentimes I tell people that one of the easiest ways to discover purpose is to tell yourself that this is something, there is a need I can meet. There is a need I see in this place. There is a need I see in this environment, and I can meet it. I'm still hoping, I'm still waiting that we can reconnect with Yewande as soon as possible. I'm sure she's working on her sound to get back to us. So sometimes in life, it just happened that you need to you stumble on your purpose like that. But to stumble on your purpose, you find out that you started doing something that you felt was a need in the life of people. If you always focus on what people need, I think you have an edge in life. companies that succeed focus on what people need. And that's what Yewande was just simply trying to say, that she didn't set out to be a career coach. Didn't set out to be an HR person. But then she saw that it was a need for people. She saw it was a need and she keyed into it. So, one more time, if you're joining us, I'm grateful that you are here, and I'm hoping that as soon as possible that Yewande will be able to reconnect with us. Hi, Yewande. Hello. Still hold on. She'll be joining us soon. We're still talking about career and how to navigate your career path. And okay, good. Yes, she's gonna be here in a moment. So wherever you're joining us from, I'm happy that you are part. Okay, yes, we got her back. Thank you. Hello. Yes, we can hear you. Finally.
Gosh, this Nigerian's internet as
Sorry,
well. I've switched
sorry.
internet.
Okay, okay. So I was saying back to what you said. You said that it was not what you set out to do. You just found out
Mhm.
that people needed someone to guide them in that direction. You know. So, but I was asking. So you are enjoying it now more than what you originally set out to do, right?
Yes, definitely.
It's amazing. One of the things people I've always understood, people come to me and say, "How can I find my purpose? How can I discover my purpose?" And I say, "Look for needs. Look for whatever people
Mhm.
need and try to meet that need, and then you will stumble on what your purpose is." And it seems to me that you are living your purpose right now. Can you say that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I enjoy what I do, and it gives me. I think it's what I do even more. It's even more valuable than what money can give, because a lot of people don't pay me, but like when they come back and tell me the impact, like I'm already filled up.
Wow. Wow. And that's the truth. The moment each of us can say to ourselves, what I'm doing is more valuable than money, that's the moment we're in a place of purpose, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
very true.
that's that's nice. I'm happy to hear that, actually. I'm happy to hear that. So what gives you the most satisfaction in your job? What gives you the most satisfaction?
As a career coach, I mean, when you watch your clients or the people you're working for, when they have that aha moment, where it's
Mhm.
like the cobwebs have been cleared or the veil has been removed,
Mhm.
and they begin to start taking steps based on what you've agreed, and they come back. There was this thing I had on my laptop screen back then in school.
Mhm.
I'm just paraphrasing it. It's like it's like I want to make an impact in lives of people. I want someone to say that because of you I didn't give up, or because of you
Mhm.
I was able to do this or do that. So when people come back and they're like, oh, the session we had or that conversation helped me to do this and do that, and it's
Mhm.
like, okay, yeah, I did something
Wow.
really good.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So I want to go back and start ask a question. What defines a career? For example, someone who wants to set up on the path of the career and all of that. So what should I say defines a career coach, and what should I also expect from my career coach?
Okay, because I'm a professional coach, a lot of people call themselves coaches, you see, but coaching is now a regulated industry.
Hmm.
Someone will just start, I give advice. Coaching is not giving advice, coaching is not counseling, coaching is
Hmm.
not consult. But
Hmm.
I would say like 70% of the population don't think that. They want
Okay.
a guide, they say, I need a coach. Maybe you need a mentor, you need a counselor. Coaching
Okay.
is partnering with a client
Okay.
to achieve their goals.
Okay.
Coaches don't care. Coaches will not say, I think you need to go and study medicine, or that
Okay.
problem you have, I think it's because you are not listening to your boss. Coaches won't do that. Professional, globally trained professional coaches. right, would not
Mm.
do that.
Okay.
So the question is, what should you do if you want to become a coach? Is to get trained, firstly.
Okay.
And what the client expect from a coach is if a form of training, certification, or credential.
Okay.
And what a coach will do for you, a
Mm-hmm.
professional coach, right? I don't know about what other people do, is
Mm-hmm.
to, so I always tell my clients is, I'm working with you on your journey. If client A wants to climb one step, I
Mm-hmm.
will climb one step with you. That is success
Okay.
for client A. Client
Okay.
B wants to climb 5 steps at once. It's possible, but obviously it will take more effort. That is success for client B. And
Okay.
so it's based on the client goals, and it's not telling, it's just helping to. So I think coaching is like partnering with you to help you see what you were not seeing,
Okay.
to help you come up with your own answers. Because the truth is this, right? And miracle that I learned. I was coming from a place where I felt that I needed to tell people the answers, or people were paying me because I was smart.
Okay.
Coaches, and I like the fact that the burden is off, because as a professional coach, I don't need to know, and I don't have to know. I should not
Mm-hmm.
know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
only need to work with you to come up with the answers. And the best part of it is that most times the client always has the best answers. When I started
Okay.
following through with how coaching should be done, whatever the client came up with was way better than I could have thought about.
Hmm.
But clients don't know. They know, but so what their
Hmm.
methods of coaching and some training, what we do is to remove that veil. And so if you come up with that answer yourself, you are going to do it because it's not somebody that told you.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to follow through, and it's going to be, it's going to be from, it's not going to be like, oh, and they prescribed, I'm not sure. It's like, I came up with this answer, so whatever step I need to do to get out of this mess, or to get out of what I need to get out of, it's coming from me, and most times it works.
Okay.
No
Okay.
coaching, right?
It seems what you're trying to say is that as a career coach, you want to partner with people. So if I'm looking for a career coach, I should look for someone who is willing to partner with me to achieve my goals.
Yes.
Okay. I want to quickly ask. Every year, universities turn out graduates. These graduates are looking for job. Even those at the beginner level of their career are looking to rise. Those at the mid
Mhm.
level are looking to get to the top. Those at the top are looking to become CEOs. And all of these are careers which I believe you help people at different levels of their career. So I want to ask, what can you say are the five most common mistakes that people make in this generation? This generation, actually. Five most common mistakes.
When it gets to career, right?
Yeah.
Number one, I, so I think I'm trying to see if I can order it properly. But in case if I don't order it properly, I mean, just order it yourself. I think the first thing is to discover yourself, right? And
Hmm.
know what you want. Because career is like a race. You're
Okay.
running with different people. If you don't know where you are going to, you can be running in the wrong direction.
Hmm.
So if you have not discovered yourself in terms of your strengths, your weakness, what you really want to do, not what the environment says you should do or what the economy seems like it's doing. There was a time it was oil and gas everybody was going for. Now it's tech. Some people is like, oh, HR is a new thing, or some is finance, 6 feet, finance bro. You're just running around. You don't even know what you want. So
Hmm.
if you want to get it right, and because I've worked with a lot of people that they've been successful for like the past 10 years, but they want to transition to another career path
Okay.
because they realize I really enjoy what I do, and I cannot continue to live this kind of life of misery. They're making money, but they don't want to continue that way. If they
Hmm.
pay the price, discover it early enough, they probably, and I'm saying probably, may not be in that mess. The first thing is know what you want and maybe your why as well. So discover your what and your why. Number two, I would say craft your, I mean, be intentional about your career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I say this, it's like two sides of the coin, because I've also just recently written an article where it's like, as a Christian, career planning, God can spoil it, but there's a part where you actually also have to plan and be intentional about your career.
Mm-hmm.
So don't just leave your career in the hands of your employers or what your friends are doing. Everybody is doing this certification, so I think I should do
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you are not even sure what the ROI will be. So plan your career and be intentional about it. I think I've said
Intention.
that's you. What and why? Why are you actually doing this? The time I work for, I told I was about to do product management. They used to make a lot of money. I don't know why I'm doing HR. Because I work in tech, I see the dollars these guys are making. And then I realized that my why was wrong, right? I'm just
Okay.
going I'm just doing that for money. So it's very important. Then be intentional. The first one I would say is be intentional about relationship building. That's network.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, people say, "Oh, I'm an introvert. I don't need anybody. I'm solo. I don't like the concept of having a mentor or a coach. I can do it on my own." I
Mm-hmm.
know you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But the truth of the matter is, God has placed people along your path to help you. If you continue to live, like my colleague would say, you and they don't live under a cocoon, the world will pass you by.
Mm-hmm.
People have been instrumental in my career. And if I thought that I could do all things on my own and not build intentionally not build relationships, then I probably will not even be where I am today. So
Mm-hmm.
build intentionally, not just it happened, or I went for an event and I just happened to see somebody that smiled at me. No, I'm going for that event so that I can meet X, Y, and Z. And when
Hmm.
I meet X, Y, and Z, I would make it a part to keep in touch with this person. I will look
Hmm.
for ways to add value to this person. And if I need value, I would not be too scared to ask for help. That is relationship building. You give,
Hmm.
you take. Give, you take. You don't just take all the time. The fifth
Can I
one I would
cut you
say,
short? Can I cut you? Can I interrupt? I don't want to miss this. You've spoken about something that I am very passionate about, which is people. It's so amazing how people in this generation underestimate the power of people.
mhm,
And I've often said it doesn't matter how great you think you are or you think you will be, you cannot achieve it without working with people. Yet, we see people trying to do it by themselves, saying, I don't need anybody, I don't need anybody. I want you to touch on something that has to do with trust. A lot of people, because they don't trust anybody, they don't work with people. How do you build a career if you don't know how to trust people? How do you work with people if you cannot trust people rather? How does that work in this time?
I mean, so I would say that a lot of people are unintentionally prideful. And I think that's where it starts from. Or a lot of people are on it, they don't know that they have pride. And wait, if you want to work with people, you need to be humble. You cannot see yourself more than you are. Now, the first thing is to know that. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please let me know. I think I
Yes, we
can.
can.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
The first thing is to know that you are flawed as a human being.
Hmm.
You don't trust somebody because of somebody's attitude, but you yourself, you are flawed. And
Mm-hmm.
so, if you expect somebody to be perfect, then you are prideful.
Mm-hmm.
People would offend you at work, in your house. I'm sure you've offended your siblings. Does not mean that you cannot work with them. And so, when it gets to working with people, and when I say prideful, what is pride? You see yourself more than you are. How can this person do this to me? Who are you? You can also do the same thing to somebody else. So why can't you learn to show grace to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
forgive, or
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Be assertive. I mean, if you offended me, I won't just think about it. Why would this person do this? I'll come and meet you. Oh, God, you offended me. Is it that you apologize or you clarify the issue and we move on? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
life is not that deep to say I must trust you. I mean, I feel like I can work with anybody. I don't need to like you or trust you. Let's just work
Mm-hmm.
together. Let's add value to each other. It's not that deep that I mean, because you're also flawed as well. So I think
Yeah.
in working with people, whether you trust the person or not, is to recognize that you are 100% flawed and you're also dealing with somebody that has flesh and blood running through them. Allow for mistakes, forgive in advance, and just ensure that you are doing your best. And I'm not saying there are some people that don't have a terrible character that you may not need to distance yourself from, because
Mm-hmm.
there are some people that should not be in your circle. They are dealing with some trauma in their household and they don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to talk and manage things. You've tried, but it's not working. Then, you just walk away and work with people that, are like you or may not be like you, but you can work with one way or the other.
So, is it fair to say that the smaller your circle, the lesser your ability to become all that you should be? Does having more people in our circle, or having the ability to relate with more people affect what we become in our career?
I don't think it's the quantity of the relationship. I think it's the quality.
Okay. Okay.
So it doesn't, I mean, you can have like 500 people that you're not close to. It's the
Mm-hmm.
quality of relationship. So so when I say be intentional about your relationship, is
Mm-hmm.
think about it. It's not just only HR people that should be my friend. I should have
Yeah.
people in finance. I should have people in engineering. And
Mm-hmm.
if I'm being intentional about how I'm gathering them and how I'm also being adding value to them and also receiving value. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
just about the number. I was saying I want a small circle. You can keep a small circle. It's not bad, but how are you nurturing
That's
those
more
relations?
circle. Mm.
Yes.
And you also mentioned something about adding value. That relationship that you have to be intentional about. You have to be intentional about adding value. So it's not just that you have people in your life who add value to you. You have to be intentional about adding value to them. Can you expand say more on that, please?
So it's not only when you need, I mean, everybody's selfish. The average human being is selfish,
Yeah.
right? So not giving excuses. But if you realize that it's only when you need people that you just remember that, I have somebody that is a doctor. Let me reach out to that person. It's fine. It's fine that you needed a doctor's help and you reached out to the doctor. But
Mm-hmm.
after you've received help, maybe the doctor just said, it might just be malaria. It's not a big deal. It may not be a big deal. Are you thinking about, okay, what can I do to add value to this doctor? Maybe can I just check up on him once in 3 months? Can I
Mm-hmm.
just be like, oh, how's your family and whatnot? Like, okay, you're a human being. You're not just that doctor that I reach out to when I need help. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand? You
Mm-hmm.
are not giving this person money, but you're not being a leech. That so it's just, oh, when I need your expert advice. There's some people that are like that. They don't really care about your existence. They just
Mm-hmm.
want to collect from you. Is either your mental capacity or your physical capacity. I
Mm-hmm.
sometimes even set alarms or calendars to check up on people, right? Or just be like, okay, I'm here if you need anything, that kind of stuff. Just be available for people. Some people will call you, they're your friends. You will not even call, you will not pick, you will not call them back. And then when you need them, you now remember. I mean, that's a very leechy behavior. I don't
Mm.
have people like that in my circle anyway, but I feel like I've seen it happen to other people. It's not, they're not being intentional about that.
It's amazing that you said that just checking up on people is also part of adding value to people. I
Yeah.
I, I, I totally agree with you. We live in a world where we have a lot of people around us, but still people are very lonely. We
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of people around us. You have a lot of colleagues at work, but you still see people who are lonely. You
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of followers on Instagram. You have a lot of followers on different social media platforms, but you see people who are still lonely. So I think I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate the fact that you say that adding value to people also means from time to time, take up the phone and check up on them. You don't. People always feel like, if someone has more than me, how can I add value to them? If someone is higher than me, how can I add value to them? I always say, for every person you meet, there is something that they cannot do for themselves. And I don't think people can check up on themselves like that. So I agree with you. It's important that we pick up the phone and say hello to somebody, as a way of adding value. Sorry to cut you short. You may go back to, I think you were going to give me the fifth career mistake that people make.
I would say openness. So career is a journey. You can
Mm-hmm.
be driving on that journey and your tire will go flat.
Mm-hmm.
You can be driving and your petrol will finish. You can be driving and a car will brush you.
Mm-hmm.
How well are you open to there's no smooth journey in life, especially in Nigeria. I don't know about Turkey. But how open and flexible are you? So I think the fifth mistake is lack of openness and flexibility. There was a
Mm-hmm.
time I wrote an article on rejection emails and how, rejections have shaped some people's career, and they felt,
Mm-hmm.
this thing is not for me because I've tried so many times and it didn't work. How
Mm-hmm.
open are you to mistakes? You had it. I've had it. There was one boss I had. I questioned God. I God, why didn't you make me avoid this person? I would cry home to work almost every day. But I just realized that I thank God I had this kind of person, because this person taught me how not to lead. So how open are you to the issues and how flexible are you? There was a course I was doing recently that if you're doing a business and things don't work out, be ready to pivot. Be ready to, it's not working, to change or to adapt. You might not even need to change. You might just need to take a step back and say, okay, what do I need to do about the situation? Do I need to upskill my knowledge? Do I
Mm-hmm.
need to talk to more people? There was the time I was about to take a job that, I had a career plan, but I felt like when I took that job, I was like, okay, it's aligned. But when I spoke with someone who is a mentor, and this person already knows my career plan, she advised me, and that advice was very helpful. So if I didn't talk to, I've already accepted the offer. If I didn't talk to this person and be like, oh, there's this offer I want to take. I've already told you what I want. What do you think about it? You say,
Mm-hmm.
Yewande, say this, say that, ask for this. So how
Mm-hmm.
open and flexible are you to challenges and to taking a step back and to asking for help?
Mm-hmm.
Pivoting, changing, redirecting, whatever. So I think that is one mistake people make. You will get 1,000,001 rejection emails. Sometimes the whole year may be very terrible for you. Sometimes it may be good for you. But because you know that your destination is XYZ, right? You should actually stay focused and just be ready to change vehicles sometimes, or to just change the petrol. It might not be vehicle you need to change. You might just need to change the tire or something, and just, you might not know if you don't step out of that car and just
Mm-hmm.
analyze. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big mistake people make.
People need to learn to be open. People need to be flexible. I think sometimes people underestimate the power of flexibility. People are so stuck on, this is what I want, this is what I'm doing, this is who I think I am, that they're not flexible enough. So anything that makes us deviate from that pre-imagined idea of who we are, pre-imagined idea of where we think we should be. Anything that it makes us, deviate from that seems to be something that is demonic, something that is not right, something that is not good for us. But I think also that flexibility is important, knowing that sometimes not every deviation is bad. Sometimes some deviations, some detours lead to something excellent in our lives. So I want to ask a question about loving what you do versus doing what you love. I don't. I have my thoughts on that, but I'm going to, as a career professional, as a career expert, I want to ask, what's your thoughts about loving what you do versus doing what you love?
I think I'll go for loving what you do than doing
Okay.
what you love,
Okay.
because sometimes doing what you love may not pay your bills, but
Mm-hmm.
loving what you do will give you the internal satisfaction that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember watching a TED talk not long ago, And the summary of what I gained from that TED talk was, you can actually, you having a successful career or you loving or not loving is in your hands. When
Mm-hmm.
I moved to HR, I didn't I wasn't doing what I wasn't saying I was going to do what I loved. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest, I applied for the job because I was unemployed. My
Mm-hmm.
first salary was 15,000 naira as a 2-1 graduate. I'm not lying. And so I just found myself there. But I made a decision to
Mm-hmm.
love what
Mm-hmm.
it was a
Mm-hmm.
decision. And because I made a decision to love what I did, I put in more effort to becoming
Mm-hmm.
very good. If I didn't see it as a path that could, so it's, it's like when you're investing in a relationship, you want to
Mm-hmm.
marry a man. Man is probably not where you think he should be. But if you are
Mm-hmm.
invested in it, you'll be like, okay, I see a potential for this person. And so you put your
Mm-hmm.
head inside, you begin to build with this person. It's the same thing with career. If you choose to love what you do, you would put in more effort than somebody who is just, yeah, I'm doing this, my parents are rich, I just need to leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
That the way they will handle it will be different. And so for me, when I chose HR, I was able to see other things that I could do outside HR, how HR could add value, not just to the organization, but to me as an individual and to people around me. And if I didn't start doing I did, I wouldn't start, reading more. I think I paid my dues. I was reading, doing a lot of courses, and because I wanted to love what I did. So I would say
Mm-hmm.
make a decision to love what you do, and then you will now move to doing what you love. Because if you don't love what you do, you may not be even if you are successful, you may not be fulfilled.
Hmm. That's true. It goes back to what I always tell people: whatever your hand finds to do per time and per season, do with all of your heart. But you see young
Mm-hmm.
people say, I don't love this, I don't love this, I don't love this. But what they are currently doing is what is paying the bills. And then if you don't love what you do at the moment, it will breed frustration about that job. And then once you go to your work frustrated every day, you will soon lose that job. And then you'll be out of you not have something to pay your bills anymore. But I think it is important, like you said, people get to understand I have to love what I do. Then eventually, along the line, I'll begin to do what I love. It's like when answering the question of marry who you love or love who you marry. I always tell people you have no option but to love who you've married. You have no option. Whoever you've married, it is the onus is on you to love that person. So also in your job, in your life, whatever, if this is a job you find yourself doing at this moment, at this point in time, that's the job you ought to love. That's what you ought to do with all of your heart, with all of your commitment. Okay, I want to quickly move into something. I know you don't want to answer personal questions. You don't. You're straightforward. Like I don't like personal questions, but this is not too personal. I'm sure someone will be happy to hear that. You're building a career for yourself. I follow you on, and you do good postings. When I see your post on WhatsApp, your WhatsApp status. Sometimes I'm at work and I'm having a rough day at work, and I open and I see and I laugh, and I see very nice videos. Also, you're very active on LinkedIn, and please, if you're following, you can follow Yewande on LinkedIn account. Yewande Jinadu. That's the name on LinkedIn account, right? So I want to ask a question about you're building an image for yourself. How difficult is it to build a company, to be an entrepreneur, to build an image that is worthwhile, to build a company, to run a business that is worthwhile? How 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 stressful can that be?
So I work for a company. Um,
Okay.
I mean, what I this is very funny question. I'm not on my own full time, right? I still work for a
Okay.
company. However, I
Okay.
run a non-profit organization. right? But my coaching, the coaching I do is a personal business. So I say it's a personal coaching business. I'm not an HR consultant yet. I'm a full-time HR. But how difficult has it been to build, would I say, I would restructure that question, the brand or what I'm currently
Yes. Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
The first person that encouraged me or pushed me or advised me in this part was one of the first person was my brother. And one thing he
Mm.
mentioned was consistency. There's this quote I saw. It says consistency is no content is king or content is queen. I don't know, but consistency is king.
Mm-hmm.
I have long I can be very patient. It's like when you're raising a child. I knew what
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do at the beginning. When I set out to do this thing, and I want to go spiritual. When God said, you know what, Yewande, you need to start. So I went for a training. I just want to tell a story. I went for a training in 2016 at Google HQ in Nigeria or Lagos. And then it was about social media and whatnot. And there's something they said. It was like a lot of people are consumers.
Mm-hmm.
And consumers are not making money off social media. The
Mm-hmm.
content creators are the ones that are making money. And so it
Mm-hmm.
was more of I now thought about it that I need to start giving. Start giving out content because I felt like I had a lot. I had
Mm-hmm.
seen a lot of things. I was experiencing a lot of issues that I felt like, let me help these people so that when they come back to me, at least I'm indirectly helping them and I'm helping myself. So I said, you know what, I wanted to start putting out content in terms of employability. I shared some articles with my brother, and it was like, you need to publish this thing. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. And yeah, I'm going to share it to Bella Nigeria if you don't agree. But you need to know something. You need to be consistent with this thing. It's not going to pay off in one day. It is,
Mm-hmm.
I've been posting. I put out something. I've been writing for Bella Nigeria since 2017. I'm nothing close. I've been consistently writing. I've been posting at least every single week for the past 3 years. Even when I was pregnant, I didn't stop posting. And when
Mm-hmm.
I started this thing, I asked God, God, feeling like I need to do this, and I don't think I can be consistent because I know life will happen. And one thing
Mm-hmm.
I received in my spirit, your source, if your source is from God, and this is my own personal story, I'm not saying your own will be like that, but I was very
Mm-hmm.
clear on what I heard. Your source is not going to come from yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some I can't remember, but like a man planted by the tree, a man, you're going to be like a man planted by the river that his source never runs dry. And ever
Sure.
since that day, I've every time I'm looking for content Monday morning, I'm like, God, what will I post? It comes. And so, would I say that building this has been easy? No, because there are some times that I don't even feel like. I
Mm-hmm.
genuinely don't want to post. But because I'm coming from my why is not just about my mood or what I
Mm-hmm.
think. My why is what about the people who who need my message?
Mm-hmm.
What about these experiences I'm going through? Because most times I write based on my experience. I don't think I'm a very
Yeah.
super writer. I write the way I talk, right? But I feel like God takes me through some of these experiences so that I can share. And the moment I start struggling to share, I'm reminded that it's not for you, it's for other people. So I will always continue to post, whether you ask for my advice or you don't ask for, I will post because
You post.
it's more of I need to keep doing it. So it's not been easy because I've had to battle with self. I've had to battle with tiredness. Like, why am I even doing this thing? Are people even listening? I mean, there's some days I will post, I'll just get like one or two likes. Nobody will like. I'm not going to be wary because I'm not posting for myself. I'm not even posting for like. I'm not posting for awards. When people started giving me awards, and I was like, so people know me like that. I'm like, I really don't care. I'm just giving, and that's what matters to me. And I see myself like as an apostle in the marketplace. Just shine your light, whether or not people receive it or not. I mean, you're not doing it for yourself or for the validation. So even if someone
Mm-hmm.
criticizes me, I'm not doing it for you. I'm just doing it for myself and what I need to do. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, even if someone criticizes you, for someone to criticize you means they've read what you wrote. That's the truth. If for
Mm.
someone to criticize what you're doing means they pay attention to what you're doing. I was in a meeting with my business partner today, and she did say something, and that we got a letter from a particular body here, particular organization here, and the letter came to the office, and I was like, okay, that's something good, because it was like, that's not. I'm like, no, that's something good. I was like, because it means someone is paying attention to what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
taking
True.
interest in what we're doing and saying, okay, you guys have got to fix this. Guys have got to fix this. So if someone is criticizing you, it means they've paid attention to what you're doing. So we have to sometimes find a way to look at criticism differently. I was also talking with somebody today, and the person did say consistency and commitment are underrated.
True.
Consistency and commitment are so underrated. People look for some other virtues that are so, but I can tell myself that consistency and commitment can shape any image faster than most of the things that people are looking out for. I want to quickly let's move forward, because I've got lots of questions I want to ask. I want to ask with you. You know, in the workplace where your manager is your friend, you have some, maybe a manager brings in his friend into a place, or somebody's already your friend, and then somehow they're employed as your manager. How should I relate with my manager, who is my friend? Or how should I relate with my subordinate as a manager? How should I relate with my subordinate who is my friend? What is the balance of that relationship?
I think I'm friends with my subordinates and my bosses. And my answer would be professional relationships.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm friends. I'm even friends with my bosses and my team members. I don't see them as subordinates. I think the workplace is professional. And what is professionalism? People can define it in different ways.
Hmm.
I think professionalism. I think when people say, they always say I'm always very professional. Professionalism is what is your profession? So
Hmm.
there's friend, there's family, there's friendship. What's my work? So your
Hmm.
profession is your work. What are the ethics? What are the morals? What are the guides towards your work? So when you hire a plumber and you say, I like that plumber is professional. You can have some plumbers that are technically sound, but they're not
Hmm.
professional,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because it goes beyond technical ability, it goes beyond knowing how to fix the toilet. It's also, as a plumber, you should know how to communicate the right way. If I'm
Hmm.
telling you this, you should know how to manage expectation. You should keep to time. Not Nigerian tailors. That's part of your profession.
But, but wait. Don't hit on Nigerian tailors right now, because the lady you introduced my wife to, she's been delivering timely. So please,
She's
please,
professional.
please. She's
Before I
professional.
switched to her, my
I,
eyes
I, I
are
don't
seeing.
I don't
But
even know
that's
her
what I've been in the
name.
past 6 months.
I don't even know her name, but I know that she's professional. So please, Nigerian tailors, Yewande is not saying that all of you are bad. You guys just have that. There's just that stereotyping around Nigerian tailors. So to all Nigerian tailors
Yeah.
who are delivering timely, like the one working for my wife, kudos to you. Yeah, I think that same person working for Yewande. So thank you for introducing her to us. Please, she's doing well, and I recommend her. Please, I don't even know her name, but I do recommend her. So please go ahead.
Okay. So back to the question. If you're working with your boss or your subordinates and they're your friends,
Mm-hmm.
just ensure that your when you're at work, you have a professional relationship with them. You're
Mm-hmm.
speaking politely, you're delivering your work on time, you're not taking that relationship for granted. Is it not my friend? When I'm meant
Mm-hmm.
to submit a report by 5 p.m. on Monday, if I know that that report is not going to be ready, it's not 4:50 p.m. that I'll say, the chicken crossed the road and the chicken did not get to its destination. That is not professionalism, right? So I'm just saying you can work with your friends if you are well guided and you are disciplined. Yeah, discipline is very key.
Okay. Okay. I want to quickly, go into something a little more private. You are, like you said in the beginning, that you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a daughter-in-law, you're a daughter, and how do you balance that? And like I say, I see you are also very busy. I read the articles you post. You have time to do TikTok videos. You have times to do all those. Yes, yes. You have time to do all those. What food do I like? Choose between amala and all of that. You have time for all of these things. How do you balance it? Let Let me say quickly. There was a day I was coming out when I was doing my, I think it was my second master's or so. I was coming out from the university, and a lady met me. I was like, I know you. I see you in the library. I see you in the gym. I know you're committed in your church. I see you and your family. It's like, how do you do it? It never crossed my mind one day that the person says, but how do you balance it? That answer never crossed my mind. So I don't know if this answer has ever crossed your mind. How do you balance it?
Someone still asked me that question last month. I get asked this question a lot on LinkedIn, on social media. I mean, it seems like maybe when there's this meme that says how people envision me balancing my life and how I'm actually balancing it.
Yeah.
Right? I would say the biggest answer. I would be lying to
Hmm.
people, if I seem to be like someone of a superb support system. You cannot live my life if you do not have a support system. You can't.
Hmm.
And I'm enjoying the grace I have to be able to. I even watch K drama a lot, and I sleep well. I sleep well. I don't joke with my sleep. I'm not someone that will say I sleep 4 hours a day. I don't know how people. I sleep my 8 hours. The max is 7 hours, and it must be complete. Even if the worst is six. So when I talk about
Hmm.
support system, I have a reliable nanny, right? She goes home weekend, so I don't have a nanny half of Saturday and the whole of Sunday because she also has family. I only hire nannies that have families because you can't
Hmm.
take care of my own family if you don't have a family. So I need to let you go. And so
Hmm.
that Saturday evening and Sunday is my time to cook. I don't cook Monday to Friday. Like right now, I'm doing Singaporean noodles. Before I came, I was
Okay.
already cutting all my veggies and whatnot. So I love to because there's balance. And I'm also so the first thing, like I said, support system. Number two is structure. I'm an HR professional. I've structured my life. Yesterday, my mama was like, "Ah, what are they going to eat?" I said, I don't need to bother about it because I've created timetable, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Apart from timetable, all the things that the nanny needs to do, chores, it's
Hmm.
written. All she needs to cook, I've bought it. I go
Hmm.
shopping once in 2 months and I spend the whole day in the market. My mom is asking me, am I buying the whole market? I said yes because I cannot go back to this market. And when I go to that market, I'm shutting down for another 2 days. So I've
Hmm.
structured my life
Hmm.
within my power.
Oh, come on. We're having a little internet problem again.
I mean, it's
I think she's been trying to say that she balances her life. She gets her sleep. She does everything she ought because there's a structure to what she's doing. She structured her life, and then she has a good support system. That's how she is able to balance her life.
sometimes
So
my life can be chaotic. And I have Google Calendar used to also. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you now.
What did you hear last? I think network kicked me out.
Yeah, I heard when you said that there's a structure to what you do. You don't worry about when your husband asks you what they're going to eat. You say you don't worry about it because there's a timetable to all of that, and you go to market. I heard all of that part.
Yeah, so I mentioned I have my mom doesn't stay far. My mother-in-law is there. My husband, those are like my top three support systems. So I have the best support system.
I'm wondering how some of us that live abroad will do it because
That's why I've not gone
we don't
abroad.
have people around us.
Yeah. That's one of
But
the
it's a
reasons why I'm not
very
going abroad. My mom is 15 minutes away.
oh, that's nice. That's nice. But it's a
And drop
very
the
good thing that
children.
you have a good support system because with all that I see you do, truly, without a very good support system, nobody can do it. It's important that people have that solid support system around them. I was talking about support system. I was gonna ask, what should ladies look out for in a supportive husband? I don't want to ask if my friend is a supportive husband. I don't want to ask. We spoke about,
Yes.
yeah, he was my guest on the conversation some weeks ago, and he told me he's learning how to cook, and that he made egg buns. That he made egg buns. In trying to make Scotch egg, he made egg buns. Those kind of things. So I don't want to ask how if my friend is a supportive husband. So I'm just going to ask what account for a supportive husband.
So he is very supportive, and my own definition of support may be different from other ladies. These
Mm-hmm.
days you hear a lot of ladies. I want a guy that can give me 1 million naira monthly. I'm like, you guys. I mean, so the way I was raised, there's some women that are raised like, I want to be senator's wife. I want to be senator's or governor's wife. I was raised to be empowered, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have the power you want to be. And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, a supportive husband is someone that empowers, does not, there's some men that they see that this person has sense and is ambitious. And when they marry her, they just cover. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot. She comes with ideas. So you can be giving her like 2 million naira a month, but the lady is miserable. She knows that she has a lot to
Mm-hmm.
give the world, but she cannot because she's under bondage. My own marriage is not bondage.
Mm-hmm.
So my own definition of support from someone, that for myself or someone if you want to marry is someone that understands you, supports you, your dreams, your goals. When I go to my husband with 1 million and one ideas, I'm going to him because I know that he has my best interest at heart. He is
Mm-hmm.
secure. He's going to help me refine my ideas. He's not going
Mm-hmm.
to turn it down or make me feel like I'm
Mm-hmm.
stupid. And it- it's just that person that is my think tank. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is support to me. Knowing that if I say I want to do anything, my husband is gonna have my back. If he doesn't have my back, there's a reason. It's not like no, 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 no. Most times he always makes things better for me. Yeah.
Okay, so a support system is someone who makes us better. Whether it's a wife, whether it's a husband, a marital support system is someone who makes us better, someone who helps us refine our ideas, someone who helps us to walk through the ideas that we have. And so you say my friend is a supportive husband. We'll talk about that with him later. I'll call him now. But there's something I've been thinking about this field, and I said I was going to discuss that with you. We saw the NSAS protest talking about Nigeria now. We saw the NSAS protest. We saw how it went down Lagos and different parts. Now we see the end. The end governance and bad governance protest. Before the Goodluck, during that Goodluck Jonathan era, we saw the current president, His Excellency Tinubu, leading protests. That was not the first protest he's led before. We've seen him lead protests over and over. So I think that he as a person is used to protest. But do you think that all of these protests can be a tool for us to change the country?
So, I mean, disclaimer: I've disconnected myself from
It's like
for
you
the
don't
sake
want
of
to
my
shout it.
mental.
You are saying you're talking it slow. You don't want to shout it. You don't want to loud it.
I, so, saying disclaimer: I've disconnected myself from news. Totally.
Mm.
Also, my mental hearing all this bad news. I don't listen to radio. I don't watch
Mm.
news unless
Oh,
I'm
that's
passing by where my husband is watching CNN. I don't because I start thinking and start panicking and whatever. So I may not be the best person to answer it because I'm just living my own life according to the economy of heaven. I mean, whatever they want to do is none of my business. Even though it affects me, I know. Mama keeps telling me that you need to stop this. I'm like, yeah, let me take each day as it comes because I really don't like thinking too much. But just to answer your question, do I think protest is the solution? I mean, I feel like there's no black and white answer when it gets to governance in Nigeria. I also feel
true.
like there's no line. A lot of things are experimentations. I mean, if you
Mm-hmm.
look at the history of Nigeria, if you felt like, okay, they shouldn't have done this, you don't know if it will work or not.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that their reason for protesting is valid? I would say yes, because I go
Okay.
to the market. I mean, that's where it's touching me, right? I go to the
Okay.
market. I don't know how people, I genuinely don't know how people are surviving. I was telling my husband, please buy egg for me. And he was like, crate is now 5,000. I'm like, stay there. Right? So that's one. I think it's valid. I see the insecurity happening. The few times I go out, he tells me about how area boys are trying to rob him almost every 5 market days. And I see how difficult it is for people. I was telling my colleague how people who are earning a certain figure, how are they eating? And you see, and because my husband is someone that works with a lot of high network people. You see, you see how people are riding G wagon and people are suffering. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's valid. However, do I think it's the solution? I don't know
Hmm.
because I feel like it may work, it may not work. Do I feel like they should speak out? Yeah, I feel like it's valid speaking out. If the protest is peaceful, I think that it's not a bad idea because people know where the shoe is pinching them and we have freedom of expression. And I think
Mm-hmm.
protest is also like part of our fundamental human rights. So far you are not stealing or breaking or you are not
Mm-hmm.
being funded by some groups or group of people, but nobody knows. However, there's nothing wrong with experimenting if it will work or not.
But I do personally think that, you know, peaceful protests across the world, peaceful protests is a way of communicating the pain of the masses. Because I ask myself over and over, just like you said, are you sure the leaders up there are aware of what's really going down in the lives of people? Are you sure?
Yeah,
Because
they don't
at
care.
that at that level, it's very difficult to say this is really what's happening in the society. The time I was in Nigeria, I asked the same question that you asked. That was just a few weeks ago. How are people earning certain amount of money surviving? How are they living? So I do think that a well managed peaceful protest is a way of communicating the pain, the feelings of people, and also forcing the government to act. Because if you remember, do you remember I think it was Ebola time in Nigeria? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Where government leaders couldn't shake themselves. So because Ebola was not a respecter of anybody, it was not a respecter of anybody. The government were quick to tackle it.
Yeah.
They tackled it effectively because it had no respect for rich or poor. So if the people can also make the government feel the pain of what all of us as masses were feeling, I think they will be willing to tackle it because I have a feeling that they know what to do. They know how to tackle this problem, but the will is not there. When I was chatting with your husband, I told her, I said, Nigerians, we are captives of the mighty and prey of the terrible. And
Hmm.
protest is a way to let the captives, to let the captors and the mighties and the terribles know we're tired of this. Something has to be done quickly. I want us to take two questions and just let's round up. I'm someone who is very I'm very key. I'm very high on loyalty. I speak. I consider loyalty to be something I look forward to when I make friends, when I work in a place, when I want to employ somebody. I consider loyalty to be high ranking virtue. I interviewed someone recently who had worked in 5 places in 3 years. 5 places in 3 years. And I told the person, I, I don't think you are committed. You are someone who can commit to a place. You have legitimate reasons why but 5 years. And that's why you see, I've been friends with your husband for 20 something years. That makes me look like an old man, Yanni. But I'm still very young, you know. So, what do companies do to inspire loyalty in their workers? What should companies do to inspire loyalty?
So the truth is, I mean, not come from typical point of view. Now, because the world is moving, the world has moved. Now, in saying
Mhm.
that someone who has worked in 5 places in 3 years, for me as a recruiter, that's like a yellow flag. Your response will make me know if it is a red flag or it remains a yellow flag. Now, because a lot of organizations, I mean, they seem okay internally, they're very toxic. So some people may just be looking for a greener grass, knowing that sometimes the grass is not green
Mhm.
elsewhere. Sometimes it may not be that person.
Okay.
60% of it may be that person. 40% it may not be that person.
Okay.
So you, as a recruiter, is be open
Okay.
to maybe that 40%, right? To your question, what can
Okay.
companies do to inspire loyalty? I'm also in that train of thought that human needs are insatiable. I work as HR.
Mhm.
People, and because I'm an HR person, I'm also a career coach. I'm the one advising people do what works for you.
Mhm.
Think about yourself
Mhm.
when it gets to your
Oh, we can hear. I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
career.
So if you could, I didn't get that. Hello.
I coach people to be selfish, right? But also,
Are you serious?
you
Hi.
can hear me.
Yes, I heard you say you coach
Can you hear
people to be
me?
selfish. Can you explain how that happens? Hello. 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 Oh, come on. She was driving at a point that I needed to get to take off from her. She says she trains people to think about themselves, think about what is good for them in their office. And she said something like someone who's worked in 3 places in 5 years is a yellow flag. The answers will lead to find out if it's a red flag or not. Hello. Okay. Just a couple of minutes left before we finish the conversation today. I'm sorry she's gonna be back in a minute, and we can wrap up this whole conversation. So I just want to say thank you for being part of the conversation. You can always get to rewatch the conversation. You can see other conversations that we have had with people. You can watch it on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. And like we said today, we apologize for those who watch us on Instagram that you couldn't get, follow us on Instagram today because we're having some Instagram problems here in Turkey. So, but I do believe that luckily, well, good enough by the weekend, it should be solved out with the government. We hope so. But then you can always catch us on Facebook and YouTube. So I just want to say thank you for being part of the conversation today. I'm not sure we're able to get you on the back again today, but She has said that it's important that you set your career goals. It's important you get a career coach. Okay, I think it's important that you get a career coach. I think that yes, she's back. So let's take a few. Yes, 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 we have it back. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I was gonna get you back to answer that part where you said you coach people to be selfish when it comes to working or loyalty. I don't know how that works. I really want to hear from you on that.
So when I say coach people to be selfish, not literally. So one thing about career is your career is in your hands. You need
Okay,
to make the best decision for yourself. The Bible says, love your
okay,
neighbor as yourself, not more than yourself.
okay, okay.
You are making career. So I'll give a random example. You're working for 3, 4 years, you are paid fairly, you enjoy it, you like they're not your bosses are not the best, but they are also not. Someone reaches out to you on LinkedIn, probably right now, maybe you earn 500,000 naira.
Mm-hmm.
They offer you a remote, and you go to you from I don't know, let's say Oshodi to VI every day, 500,000 naira. It's okay for what you do, but someone enters your
Mm-hmm.
DM, offers you a remote role for $3,000. I mean, and it's a global company. You get to work at home. An individual, you will make a decision that favors you, yes or no.
my yes is my yes is on a standby waiting. Come on. Anyway, I think I get an understanding of what she's trying to say. And as much as you want to commit to a place in speaking about loyalty, you have to also be loyal to yourself, loyal to your goals, loyal to your career goals. And like I said, it's been wonderful having this conversation with Yewande today. I'm sorry for the internet interruptions and all of that, but you can always rewatch and get the clips again and again. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful